Well, I guess the suit of swords were based on they were my college senior thesis. And I guess I chose the suit of swords because it was a set number of pieces. So I kind of knew I didn't have to worry about doing too much or too little. It was kind of like, this is how many pieces there are, so that's how many I'll do. I guess suits of swords because they're really angsty and it's usually about tragedy and uncertainty, and nights are hot, we all like nights, so that's kind of where it started. In the beginning, we're kind of based on typical fairy tale moments, like True Love's Kiss, Cinderella's Slipper, but this one in particular was more of kind of an idea that I had in my head, just something that I thought would look cool as a black and white silhouette. And at first I just thought it was going to be hair, kind of like a Rapunzel thing, but then I thought, oh, it would be cool if it turned into a snake at the end. I suppose the Three of Swords is my favorite. It was the first one that I did, actually, and not the Ace or the Two of Swords. Yeah, I guess my inspiration for these, I didn't really look at any one deck in particular because all the decks have so much different symbolism, and I didn't want to lock myself into just one interpretation of the cards. So yeah, it was kind of just a mosh-posh of different ideas. I read up on the cards and tried to, I don't know, ask my friends who were more well-versed in tarot at the time than I was for inspiration and ideas. When I was originally working on the suit, I was trying to make people or the characters as generic as possible, actually. I didn't want them to look too individual, if that makes sense, because I think I wanted them to just be like a vehicle for the symbolism and not necessarily like a character with a story. But yeah, this time around I did struggle with it, but the first time that I made the illustrations, I definitely was very at war with how, I guess like how cartoony to make it or how personal to make the characters. But I think in the end I kind of struck an okay balance, but it was definitely something that I had to consider going into because I didn't want them to feel like they were part of something else. I decided to do the traditional paint on glass for my original pieces because I was trying to find like something that was meaningful to me and that would be aesthetically pleasing in mass quantities. And I immediately thought of my mother because when I was a child she actually did a lot of paint on glass and she sold those paintings for money. So that's where that came from. And actually my grandmother had a bunch of paintings like this in her house when I was a kid. They were Victorian silhouettes. I'm not sure what the exact name is, but it was always like just figures standing under trees, you know, in Victorian like dresses. So I loved those, so I thought that I would do a whole series of that. This card, I really wanted to create like a sense of danger in the environment happening beyond the character. Wanted to portray a sense of wonder, but also danger, uncertainty, and yeah, just a sense of like wanderlust, but kind of at a price, if that makes sense. This one was also not necessarily based on any pre-existing fairy tale. I've been surrounded by a lot of crow imagery with my friends in D&D, so I guess that's kind of what inspired this piece. Just drawing birds and like crazy hair, because I love drawing wild locks. Because like swords are just so, they're so personal to the wielder. I think they can say a lot about a character, but they're also deadly, and I think I really like that juxtaposition between like beautiful flowing characters and just this deadly weapon, and how those kind of play off of each other. So this piece was actually one of the first traditional pieces that I made. I was kind of at war of what to do with all these silhouettes, so when I was working on this one, everything kind of clicked into place that I wanted it to be, if not referenced to a fairy tale, very fairy tale heavy, or just seems like it would be a fairy tale. So this one, yes, is very recognizable as, you know, Snow White or The Kiss of True Love. So yeah, I just wanted to have two feminine figures kind of creating magical moment.